like I look.
No,
I
but
don't
you
think
like
you look bald.
turn this way so you can see the ponytail. So.
Oh, shit.
It looks different in 3D than like a.
In 3D. Let me see if I can
Side to
off this
this.
whole podcast. I'm just gonna.
Do these have sides or no?
Yeah, but just put it whatever most. I think like
Oh,
this
there
is
it
my
is.
technical.
Okay, yeah.
Hello. Okay. Whatever's more comfortable.
You have them on the right way. Cause
I keep thinking like, okay, well, I'm gonna
See,
do no
you're right.
headphones this spot, and now I'll be like, oh, never mind.
Yeah, I was watching one of my my podcasts that I'll keep unnamed because you hate it, but
I don't hate it. Shout out to them, but we don't need to
also
say
somebody that I know said you remind them of the guy, the light skinned one.
it. I'm not surprised. Every person thinks I look like every famous light skinned
No. He was saying the way that you struggle to get some of your shit out is the same way he
Watch.
struggles to get some of his shit out. And I was like,
watch when this be our
facts.
last episode, because I go crazy this episode, and then we be like, oh shoot, well I didn't think you were gonna be that mean. Because I'm mean. You don't understand. I'm mean. I'm a mean person. I'm proud of it.
Miles.
I sometimes
hold on.
think
You know what color my hair is naturally, right? Because
That-
if you want to play the can be mean game, my mom tells me I'm the nicest person ever until I decide I don't want to be, and then she's like, you have the meanest tongue I've ever heard in my life.
I can imagine, but like I said, I could be very mean.
Morgan's like, I don't want any parts of this.
I'm the nicest, sweetest angel there ever lived.
All right, Summer. Didn't you say you were Summer? Here, let's turn
Y'all
this
said
way.
I was Summer.
You said. Hold on,
No, you
hold on,
said
hold
you
on.
were Summer, and I
Like
didn't.
this? Do you like it
That-
this, or you rather this way?
Yeah, why? I want.
Well, it doesn't really.
I
Well,
want
I can
mine.
tighten
Like
it.
that. Okay.
I want
fine.
mine closer to me, but I
There we
can't
go.
twist this.
What you mean? Do you need me to come over there?
Like, so it comes this. Well, I thought I had more grip strength than this, but apparently.
You ain't
Miles-
supposed to twist the top one.
This one?
Yeah.
To make it come this way? What's this one do then?
Rotate it from angle, vertically.
Oh. I was about to be like, I need a man, Miles.
People didn't like that I said need. I mean, I knew it was gonna be funny. That's why I used it. What's
Okay,
up,
now I feel
y'all?
like it's-
How y'all doing today? Hold on. I feel like I need to put my glasses on to get into character. I really try to get in character sometimes, and I'm not in character.
Go
right
for
this
it.
moment.
Go for
Oh,
it.
I
But
was
I feel
gonna.
like it's too much. Are you good?
I
over
don't
there?
know. I struggle every week to get it in the.
What's wrong with it right now?
I don't know.
You were close to it. Episode 4 or 3. I forgot. No, 4. It was popping a lot, so maybe it's better that it's not as close.
No, I think that was the episode that I was messing with it because I couldn't figure out where I
I
wanted
don't know.
it.
One was popping when you said peas.
When I said what?
Peas?
When you were like anything with a P at the front or something like that, it would pop.
You know what? That's because I grew up singing and I know how to clearly enunciate my words.
Well, I was in speech therapy, so maybe I can't. Sorry. Thanks a lot. No, I'm just kidding. What's going on? How y'all doing today? I'm gonna put the I might put these on. I don't know.
All right, well, just keep them close, just in case.
I switched it up today, Morgan. I don't have a.
I know. I actually dropped this. You see this? It's all. I was
Morgan,
running out of the
that
house
looks
and
like
I was
you
like,
more than dropped it. Look at the bottom
I know.
of it.
You haven't smashed it.
Yo.
Looks like you took some aggression out this
Yeah.
morning.
Yeah.
I tried their new watermelon berry flavor this week, and I was highly disappointed.
I've never had that.
I think it's a new flavor. It just was very like watery. Oh shit.
Yeah, this is
Sorry.
green apple cherry. It's pretty good.
What's going on?
I got the green.
What's going on there? You're right.
I kicked it
What's
That
your
was crazy.
Starbucks order?
on accident. Nothing delicious right now, obviously.
Oh, that's right.
This is a Pike Place with a double shot of espresso, 3 pumps of sugar-free vanilla syrup.
She said espresso.
and
X.
espresso? Oh,
Where do you see the X in that thing?
I don't know. I've always pronounced it
That
like
was
that.
accent.
And I feel like my coach would kill me if he knew how much Splenda was in here, but there's 10 packets of
It
Splenda.
ain't killing him. It's killing you.
There's 10 packets of Splenda in here.
Stop. No, there's not.
Yo, I was just thinking about this too. Are we rolling? We're rolling.
It's really bitter. So yes, there's 10 packets. I did have an off-plan coffee the other day. I had one of their
I'm not surprised.
peppermint.
That's crazy.
No, it was the day that I found out that he was making me wait
Still
10
not
more
surprised.
weeks. I said, I'm not doing cardio today, and I'm having a coffee off plan. I had the peppermint mocha from Starbucks. Now I did half the pumps, so it was better. But it was so good. Like, if you like a Thin Mint, it was like a Thin Mint in a drink.
I love the peppermint milkshake from. Ooh, I'm doing the popping. Peppermint milkshake from Chick-fil-A.
Now I feel like I'm so
Ew.
far from the mic. Do I snap? But you know what?
So
I'm loud,
good.
so it's probably okay.
You can't hear yourself?
No, I mean, I can hear myself. I just feel like I sound
You can tell
flat.
it
I feel like I can't hear myself when I'm.
Let me,
Listen up here.
oh yeah, no, but I also just talk loud, so never mind. I'm gonna just shut up. Anyways.
Are we sorry? Are we rolling? Are we rolling? Are
We're
we
good.
Oh, I
rolling?
thought we were already.
No.
Oh, I feel like they're just used to our randomness in the beginning now at this point.
Honestly, like we could probably leave some of it. Yeah. I usually like cut like halfway in the beginning of a first conversation, and then like I leave whatever else, even though Morgan won't cut it and clip it. And put it up there.
Okay. That
I said, Morgan, you gonna be biased, and
What
then
did
she
you
wouldn't
not
clip
clip?
her.
I didn't edit a clip of myself because it's boring.
Okay.
What? Wait, hold on. I feel left out of the
It's
creative
lame.
process here. I didn't get a vote on whether this clip was boring
Okay,
or
I'll
not.
send it to you. I don't think it's like something that's gonna
Communication
get the-
now. You could have said,
I told
"Well, I think
you."
it's boring." You said, "I hate it."
I do. I stand on that. But I mean, I can send it to you
No, it's
like
fine.
all done up.
It's
and
too
we
late.
can-
It's too late. I got some clips for this
But
next one.
Yeah, you still haven't put up that other one of you, and I think that's a better one to put
Well,
up.
I try to do a fair like we rotate who's going.
I
with
feel
who.
like I've had myself
Because you talk the
clipped
most.
It's I don't think
Fine,
we need
you know
to be
what? I'm
fair.
I'm
It's
just not
like
gonna
whatever.
talk this episode then. How about that, Miles?
I mean, that would defeat the purpose of you being
No,
here.
talk. That's the point. But
I'm
like,
kidding.
it doesn't need to be always fair. Like sometimes people have more clips or whatever. It doesn't need to be like fair all the time.
No, I
Yeah,
know,
a
but
good
like
thing.
even when I go through, like I can show you, I have like so many timestamps, and I say, okay, what are the best ones to like that I think that will do well, and like look, these are timestamps. These are all timestamps,
Oh.
and I have them on multiple episodes. I know you probably can't read any of that, but so I say, okay, what's the best one? What are people going to be the most mad about? What do people have opinion about? Like, and so yeah, that's where I was like, you know. I don't
Yeah,
know.
I just thought it was boring. So, and yeah.
And what? Just say it. What? Don't.
I
do
don't
it.
know. Like looking back on the episode 2, I was just like, this whole vibe of me and fit is just not it. Like I was just like looking like slouchy and like my like tummy and like my headband. It was just not.
See, bias. That's bias. That's what I'm talking about. But you know what? This is our first episode actually. Like after we posted. So like this is our first episode where we're recording
yeah.
after we posted, and
It
it feels
is.
kind of weird now.
True.
It feels weird now. Like I almost want to like post the other ones first, like because I feel like I want to be up to date, but at the same time I kind of like it because it doesn't make a difference. Like our topics aren't timely based currently. Maybe yeah, because it works out. Because if we couldn't be here this weekend or next weekend, we have the episodes. But how are y'all doing this week?
Good. Oh my gosh, I need to tell you guys something. So I went to the movies last night, and we were in line for the snacks, and I hear beside me these people are on a date, and they're getting the thing and checking out, and the guy goes, "Do you have Apple Pay?" And then they're like, "Nah," and he's like, looking around, and he like looks at the girl, and then she like pulls out her card and everything. But how are you not gonna go on a date without your wallet? You're gonna just go with your phone? Do you think that was like a play?
Do you think it was a first date, or do you think they've been dating? They are a couple. That's the real question.
What did
I
her
have no
face
idea,
look
but
like?
I couldn't see her face because her
Oh,
back
'cause
was.
I was gonna
Morgan
say
was like
her-
this.
But he looked at me. I saw him and he saw me, and he looked a little guilty.
No, I was just curious because like her face would have given it away
Yeah,
as like
true.
it was a first date.
Yeah. He was like,
I've
"You have
had
Apple Pay."
so
I thought that was so funny.
similar story, but not Apple Pay. With my like ex from a couple years ago, we had like gone to Express to get some suits for like some event that we had like coming up. This man gets to the register, $1,500 worth of suits. Credit card declines. He's like, shit.
How long were y'all dating?
At this point, like less than 6 months. Credit card declines. He's like, fuck. He's like, I mean, I get it. Like, doesn't want to put all this stuff back. He's like, there's clearly something wrong with his card. Like, his balance is very high on this card. Like, I know that for a fact. Like, whatever. I was like, don't worry. Like, I'll just put it on my credit card, and then you can, like, cash at me. When I say I was so nervous when I swiped my card, I was like, oh my God, I'm going to kill this man if he doesn't. And then literally 24 hours later, like, I get a Cash App notification. He'd cash at me.
24 hours?
Put it
is
back.
Crazy.
Put it back.
He
I'm
had
telling him put it back.
No, but I knew, like, so basically what had happened was his card had expired or was about to expire at the end of the month, and his new card had already been sent to his billing address, which is at his mom's house. So that card technically wasn't active. They, like, cut it off before the expiration date because they had already sent the replacement card.
Put it back.
So
Hold on. Why is his billing sent to his mom's house still if he's so, like,
Well paid.
loaded?
it was just that was his old, like, he's had the card
Yeah,
forever.
yeah,
It was
yeah,
like
yeah,
one
yeah. I had that
of
situation.
the old addresses. He had just never, like, updated it type of
I have
situation.
that. I have a lot of stuff that goes to my mom still.
I mean, I
do too. But.
Yeah. Yeah, so I mean, it was a credit card, but like he was like, I'll send it back to you. He's like, I don't know what's going on, but I was just like, I didn't want him to have the embarrassment of like putting it back. But when I say nervous girl, I was like, yo, if this man does not send me, but like also like I literally was like, you know, I know where you work. Like, I'll show up to your work and cause a fucking scene if you don't run me this $1,500 back.
So Morgan, do you expect the guy to pay on the first date then? Is that what you're implying?
Well, yeah, if you're asking me out on a date, I
Okay.
expect you to pay. Yeah, I mean,
Okay, no, that's
first
fair.
first date is not a date if I pay for it. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I'm like
we can be homies.
So
the very first date. Nah, that's all you, my guy.
So we saw a video, and basically this girl was on this podcast or interview or whatever she was on, and she was talking about how she was expecting, how the dude did every gentleman-like thing for her, and she immediately thought he was corny. And we had a little discussion about it, and I want to know y'all's opinions on it before I say my opinion. And yeah, like, do you think she's wrong? Like, how do you feel about it, basically, is the question.
Yeah, I think she's wrong. I think we had like the same consensus. Like,
Yeah.
you know.
So there's actually so that girl gets clipped a lot, like where people take part of her shit and put it out of context. So a lot of times she has follow-up clips. So she actually has a follow-up clip where she was like, well, the reason I thought it was corny is because I realized I didn't actually fuck with the dude, like didn't really like him. And I think that's kind of what Morgan and I talked about. Like, if I'm really rocking with homeboy, like, and you bring me flowers and you do all this gentleman stuff, I'm gushing. But like, if I'm not really interested in you and you do that stuff, it like does the complete opposite. Like, it almost gives me the ick. It's not even, it's like past corny. It's almost like, yo, like, just stop. Like,
Yeah.
just,
If you're on the edge with a guy, you know, when you kind of maybe give a guy a chance or something
Yeah,
like that,
yeah,
like
yeah.
it can't be one of those situations. Like, you have to be.
Why y'all be giving guys chances?
Why?
Yeah, like on the edge like that, what you're saying. Like, what? Like, all right, I guess we'll give him, like, he made the team. He's just going to be on the practice team.
I mean, I think that you can't discount everybody. I mean, at first you don't know somebody yet, right? So you want to kind of figure it out.
Yeah.
And if you might not be totally into a person at first, but
It
you
can
don't
grow.
know them. Yeah.
yeah, it's like a first impression thing. But I've also had it happen kind of the other way. So like, I had liked this guy for like years, and we had kind of like had like a back and forth, but he would never like actually like give it a go. And then I finally was at a point where I was like, well, forget you, like, I'm done. Like, we're so cool, we can be friends, but like, I have no romantic interest in you. And then he started doing that type of stuff. Like, he would like randomly like be like, hey, I'm gonna swing by your house and drop off flowers, or like he bought me sneakers and like all this stuff. And when I say like I hated it, it made me so uncomfortable. Like,
And you liked him for like him
I
first
liked
for a while?
for a while. Like,
then-
we had gone back and forth, and every time I'd be like, okay, so like, are we gonna actually try to date? He would be like, yes, and then he would like freak out and back off. And this went on and off for like a year and a half, almost 2 years. I mean, this
Ooh.
was like a while ago, like in my early 20s. And then I got to a place where I was like, okay, like you're cool. I have mad love for you. I always care about you, but the romantic vibe is like over. Like I'm done with it. Like once it takes me forever to get to that point, but once I get there, like once I'm done, I'm 100% off it. And then I think he tried to like, he basically realized he fucked up and like tried, like my Jordans I had on last week, like he bought me those after I told him 4 times not to buy the shoes for me because I knew what he was doing. And like I was like, it's you buying me the shoes and bringing me flowers is not going to make me change my feelings for you. Like it really made me like not even want to be friends anymore because I was like, now you're not respecting the boundary that I've put in place of like, hey, it's not going.
Yeah, it's too little, too late.
Yeah, it was very much like, this is very ick.
I feel the same way after.
It's very aggressive feeling.
I feel the same way after if I hit something on the first night. Honestly, most of the times, like after if I hit on the first night, I'm just like, get away from me. That's how I feel. That's how I feel for real. It doesn't matter. Like they didn't do anything wrong. It could have been cool, whatever. After if I hit the first night, 9 times out of 10, I'm gonna be like, go away, please stop texting me. No, I don't care what you're doing. Like I'm very like switch. If it's a one night, if it's a one night, like on the first night, and it doesn't apply to like everyone, but that's how I feel about it. Like it just, there's something about, I don't know why it clicks that other way for girls, but, and I don't think other guys feel this way, but for me, I think every single girl that I hooked up with on the first night, I was like, please, I don't care if you get home safe. Please get away from me.
I think that depends upon the like how you got into that first night hookup because like most girls, like, and I'm not gonna say if you respect yourself because I think to each its own, but like most girls, if I choose to sleep with you on the first night, like it depends upon the scenario. Like if we met at the bar, this is our first date, and we haven't like we met online at like online dating or something like that, and you hit the first night, like more than likely I didn't think it was gonna be anything either. Like I knew what I was doing. I think it's a little bit different if you like have been talking to somebody like for a while and like maybe you guys have like hung out a couple times, but like, and then you guys hit the first time y'all go on like an actual date. To me, I feel like that's a little bit different because at that point it's like we've already built some sort of connection. I don't think it has the same like layer of that. But also like I also am one of those that believes that if a girl lets you hit on the first night, it's not because you spit mad game. Like she was already planning on letting that happen prior to, you even coming over. I mean, there's telltale signs for a woman that like she was prepared. Like, have you seen that meme that's like if she shows up and she has a matching set on, like you didn't fuck her, she fucked you. Like she already knew what her end goal was before.
I mean, can it just be mutual though? Because if a dude comes over there, most of the time they're like, I'm trying to hit. So if she lets him, is different than like she effed him. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's mutual. Like, you act like the guy don't want it.
No, but there's, like, a saying, like, I don't know if you've heard the saying before, like, women hold the key to sex, men hold the key to marriage.
Yeah, no, I've never heard that, but that's true.
Yeah, like, if a woman, I mean, it doesn't matter if a woman does
Never mind.
Unless what? Go ahead.
No. See, that's what I'm saying.
No, go ahead with your intrusive thought, Miles.
Bad word. Oh, never mind. I shouldn't say
What's
that.
a bad word?
Yeah, I don't even know. Miles,
Marriage?
you said you weren't going to do this episode. Do that.
This one is bad.
Okay, come on. Oh.
Yeah, we can't say that.
Yeah,
see, look, I told you.
That one we can't say.
I told you. See, I was going to boom, but then I was like, oh,
Yeah, that
see?
one, I'm glad you kept that one in.
See, those are the thoughts I got.
But yes, I feel like that it's definitely.
Not the thoughts of that, but, Sorry, guys. I did it already.
It definitely depends. Because there have been times, like, that I've wanted to the first night and definitely been like, yep, not going to. That's why I say women can want to and make a decision.
I mean, for sure. Like, I always say, like, honestly, a little bit behind even just the name is, like, whatever she wants. It's because I say women rule the world. Like, I really do think that.
But why do you think so, just out of curiosity, like, you have a certain perspective about a woman that lets you hit on the first night, but, like, what does that say about you for trying to hit on the first night? Like, you don't think it holds?
Well, you said something that I agree with. Like, it depends if I if we've talked over, like, text for more than a few days,
Yeah.
maybe like a couple weeks, maybe a month or something before we got up for the first time, then I'm not going to maybe feel that way necessarily. But if we like you slid in my DMs or I slid in your DMs on Monday and then Thursday we're hanging out and I hit, I'm going to be like, oh yeah, she just like and that is.
And then you're saying that she keeps they try to keep talking to you. And
Yeah, even
you're
just on
like-
some casual, like even on some like, oh, what are you doing today?
So it gives
like,
it just gives you the ick.
Yeah. I don't know why. It's very aggressive too.
Maybe
like-
they're just trying to hit again.
And also too, yeah,
So
no,
what if,
for sure.
So what if she came out like? Do you think your brain goes to a space because I feel like a lot of guys think this, that like if a girl lets you hit, they automatically want more. So do you think your brain is in a space of where you're like, oh, well, I let her hit and now she's hitting me up, so she's trying to date? Like, do you think it's that? Do you think if maybe she was just like, yo,
Yeah.
I'm trying to hit again, that you would be like, you wouldn't have the ick?
I think yes, I would feel the same way regardless. Sometimes if they were just like, oh, I'm trying to hit on a late night type time, on a dark stormy night I like to call them, then if it happens, it would happen. But for me, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Like it's just something within me. Like I don't know what it is. For example, one time this girl came over, I hit the next morning. Sorry, Sam. She started sucking me off, and I was just like, "Oh my god!"
Sorry, Sam.
I want her to leave right now. Like I don't even want this. I had to close my eyes as tight as I could and try to picture someone else because I was just like, I just don't want this. I want her to leave. I don't want to have sex with her. Please get out of here.
Morgan,
Did you say that, or did you?
No,
let
I
it?
didn't say.
Yeah,
I closed
so
my
I was-
eyes and.
So I was gonna say, Morgan, from a girl's standpoint, would you rather have him stop? I don't know how I'd feel in that moment. Would you rather have him stop you?
I mean,
I
you
don't
didn't know. You wouldn't
no,
know.
No. I know
You
we
know
wouldn't know, but I'm like trying to think like, would I want if I was doing that to a guy and he wasn't into it, would I want him to?
You wouldn't know.
Miles, that's not the question I'm asking. I'm saying, would you
Yeah.
want him to? I mean,
To
I know you don't
stop
know,
you.
but would you want him to stop you? I almost feel like I would want him to stop.
I mean, yeah, it would be like a little bit,
in the
a
politest
little
way
harsh,
possible.
but like I'd rather that than have me
Don't have me doing
force
all that
myself
work.
on.
Yeah,
somebody.
like you should have just
She
been.
was like, "You could get that every morning." I said, "Yeah, no, thank you."
No, you should have just been like. You should have just been like, "I'm good, baby." Like you should just. I don't know.
I gotta go take a shower.
I gotta pee. No, Miles, that was your
Yeah,
out. I gotta pee.
I gotta pee. It's the good
Like
one.
yeah, like you could have been.
I was young and dumb. Yeah.
Well, I mean, scientifically too, women release, I think, is a dopamine or something like after sex, and men, they don't like. Well, I think maybe I'm speaking.
No,
out of
I know.
my
I
ass,
know
but,
what
like,
you're. I know what you're. I don't.
There's
know
a
what it is,
difference.
but I'm
There's a
talking.
difference of levels of like
Hormonal
what
release.
Yeah,
hormones
like
and
like
everything,
mental.
like,
It's like something like men, like the chemical that you guys experience like gives you clarity, whereas like the chemical experience that women have
it's-
like
it's
brings us
literally,
love,
like, love.
Yeah.
So
or something like that.
Not all women.
well, I mean,
Not all
they
women.
can.
I mean,
okay.
regardless of whether they choose, I think something like that, it's chemical based, so it's not a choice. I think just
Yeah.
Exactly.
You can still behave differently.
Yeah.
And whatever comes out of your mouth is
But-
not
but
lining
that's
up
the
with it.
chemical.
But to be honest with you, we're not going to get on the whole realm of woman tendencies again. But I think some women don't have that. And that's why I categorize them. Because I think some women don't have that.
no, I think they do. It's a chemical thing. So I think
Yeah,
they
but some
do,
people
they
can
just
be without
ignore it.
chemical and don't
Well, okay, yeah,
produce
I guess-
chemical. And
I
that's
guess
So they're
that's-
mentally ill. They have a chemical
I'm not
imbalance.
look. I'm not
Please
saying
make
that
sure you
because
clip
that
that
can
one,
that can
Miles.
go with a lot of stuff. So I would say yes. That's as far as I'm going on that category.
I'm getting hot in here.
But
So-
Whew.
but I mean, I think like I said, it just depends.
I
You
got
s- you
toasty
said
on
it
that
best.
one.
Like it depends, but I think a lot of young guys. I read the comments before y'all got here. I read the comments, and a lot of the guys they're all butthurt, right? A lot of guys were butthurt, and I think
By which I missed this. By which
the
statement?
girl talking about he was corny because obviously it was
Oh,
out
yeah,
of
yeah,
context,
yeah.
but that's how it goes. That's how clips go.
Yeah.
But I think a lot of men give up because we believe or they believe that nice men finish last.
But I also think, no offense, I think like what you're saying, like I feel like men get butt hurt about a lot of that stuff. Like when we talk about like no offense, like I feel like men will do one nice thing for a girl and she not appreciate it and then never do it again. But as women, like we continually do things for guys even after the last guy didn't appreciate it or the last guy overlooked it. And it's like one time and y'all are like done and don't want to try again. Like I think that's
Yeah, because they were
that's
working on their emotional intelligence and y'all turned it down.
But I think that's not emotional intelligence. Like, I think that's wild. You got butthurt because one person didn't like it. Like, I had somebody in my DMs about.
It's not one people. That's a general, like, overall statement.
So
like,
let me tell you,
isn't that the opposite of emotional intelligence? Like, you're not going to be able to regulate your emotions.
It's a step towards it. It's like if you quit.
Not if you're
being butthurt.
Yeah, that's not. That's taking something personal. So, kind of going off of this, after our first episode released, the chair pulling out clip that like got clipped. This guy was like in my DMs talking about it, and he was like, well, gentlemen aren't gentlemen because why would I be a gentleman if she's not going to bring, actually, let me find it. He was like, if she's not going to bring something to the table. And I was like, oh my gosh, this is so ungraceful. So ungraceful. Let me find it. But he was basically like, well, women don't appreciate it, so why would we do it? And it's like, but then if you have that mindset, then you're not really a gentleman because somebody who's a gentleman is going to do it
regardless.
Basically, regardless.
I think men just overall, like, and I don't know why, but I feel like men overall, and maybe they don't, and they suppress or whatever case it may be, but I feel as if they don't know how to read a room with women. I think that's really what it comes down to, because I can tell if this girl needs the seat pulled out for her by talking to her and having conversation with her.
Yeah. So he was like, I'm saying a lot of men are not going to be gentlemen because the majority of women aren't traditional or ladies anymore. And I said, no miscommunication. If you're a true lady or a true gentleman, you do that regardless of what the other person is. So me being a lady or being polite has nothing to do with whether you're polite or not, because it's who I am. He was like, okay, that's fair, but how many times is the lady or gentleman going to get played after being their best self before they stop trying or even wanting to waste their time and energy on a new generation of dating? So as a lady, what are you bringing to the table equivalent to a man getting the chair or door open? And I basically was like, I can only speak for myself, but I'm authentic no matter how many times I've been hurt, and I'm not going to stop trying or like doing those things despite wasting my time. And I was like, personally, I won't speak to what I bring to the table the same way I won't ask someone else what they bring to the table. There's an initial vibe or connection that we learn through time. Like, I hate that question.
Honestly, Shay, we disagree on a lot of things, but what I do agree with is the fact that if you are polite, you will do it regardless. But I think my point earlier is the simple fact that all men, or not all men, but a general men say the same thing, because the nice man doesn't win the same way that a douchebag does. Like, you can say what you want.
But I think that depends upon the type, like, I think this is sad, and I think it has a lot to do with social media, but the type of women that appreciate the gentleman, there's not as many of those. But like, that kind of goes back to what we were saying before. When you actually like the guy, it's not going to be an ick. And I think even in the situation
that becomes with their personality too, because you can be a gentleman and not be the thing is like I said, dudes don't know how to read a room. And when they try to be gentlemen, they are cringy gentlemen. Yeah. They don't know how to be a gentleman, also like be able to be a man at the same time. They're either soft, wimpy gentlemen, or they're like, or you can be a gentleman. I keep hitting this, sorry. Or you can be a gentleman and also know how to, be a man and be a dominant male in a situation in that case. But most men don't know how to. They say, anything else for you? And they're turning to servants rather than man being nice.
And I've also had that, like, I've dated guys that have been like that too. I think it's about like truly, I think sometimes we forget to like self-reflect too, because I always tell people, like, I want a nice guy, but I also know in the past that I've dated super nice guys and it doesn't work for me. And it's not because the nice guy finishes last. It's just, I'm a strong personality, and if you allow me to walk all over you, I will. unintentionally. Like, it's not intentional. It's just part of my personality. So I need the guy that's going to be a gentleman, but that's also going to tell me when I'm acting a fool, sit down and shut the fuck up. Like, I need that sometimes, but that comes to, we don't communicate. Like, that girl in that example, she could have just been like, hey, I appreciate the flowers, but for me at this stage, like, it's just a little too much. That would have been a way, I think, where he wouldn't have been necessarily as butthurt, and they could have moved forward.
No, I don't think it's about communication. I think it's about being a traditional man. I think it's about being a traditional man. It's not about telling you to shut up. It's about literally being a dominant male. Men are supposed to be dominant. Clip me, whatever you want. Men are supposed to be dominant. Not saying women can't be dominant, but men are supposed to be dominant by nature. And what happens is these men are being dominant by nature, and they're being, I don't even like using this word because it's red pill stuff, but they're being simps, and they don't know how to stand up for themselves and have a backbone. And so when someone that does have a strong personality comes around, they don't know how to handle it because they haven't been nurtured to do so.
I agree with that, but we're going back to like the original statement of the flowers thing. Like, I think there's a way to navigate that where men still feel like they can do that without being butthurt. Because, like, on the flip side,
I think it's a self-reflecting, that's it.
But on the flip side, I can understand that too. Like, if I did something for a man out of the, like, caringness of my heart, and then they, like, felt like it was corny or didn't like it, like, I think that would kind of make me feel butthurt, unless you came to me and was like, hey, this is why I feel like it's
but you have to have some self-awareness.
Exactly.
That's true.
You know, there's, like you said, reading the room.
Yeah.
I don't know.
How do men learn to read the room better? Because I guess to speak on the man, it's like I feel as if because men don't have, a lot of men in modern day don't have their male figure to teach them how to be a quote unquote man, a real man, a dominant man, a providing man. When they get into rooms with women, because maybe their self-confidence is down. And I do sometimes, I don't blame women entirely because, again, it comes down to being a man. But I blame women and sometimes on how they push how a man should be and then what they say they don't like. And then it seems contradicting. But men who don't have as most emotional intelligence don't know how to read a room because they don't have someone teaching them how to read a room. And I feel like that's what it comes down to.
Morgan, do you have a thought on this before I go? I don't want
to. I mean, who's being taught this? Like, I feel like
I
feel like I have a reasonable grasp on reading a room, and
because you have emotional intelligence as a woman.
But I think it comes down to, like, if you know, like, we're talking about self-awareness, it's a level of self-awareness. Like, you should, and this is man or woman, you should be aware of what energy and vibe you give off when you walk into a room. If you don't know that, dating, all of that stuff, trying to pick up women, trying to pick up guys, all that stuff aside, that's where you need to start. Do you know what happens when you walk in a room? Do you know the energy you give off? Do you know the vibe you put out? Do you know how people receive you? And that comes from, 1, self-reflection, 2, having a group of people in your life that you know you can come up to and be like, hey, so what's your perception of me in this situation? And then 3, I mean, you have to learn. Like, a lot of
building up your self-confidence.
Yeah, but a lot of people don't want to learn. Like, you know how many podcasts.
Wait, how do you learn though? Because those are good points. But how do you?
You interrupted me.
Huh?
You interrupted me. That's why you don't know what I was gonna say.
Well, you were ranting, so I was trying.
How do you learn? Do you buy Hustlers University?
I mean, I think podcasts and books have a lot, like, this generation, there's like a split in this generation where I feel like you're either like a super learner who like is really into all that stuff, or they don't give a fuck. And it's like, you have to spend time learning, like listening to podcasts, reading.
Yeah, but some people are consuming the wrong information.
Exactly.
I mean, that's true.
There's so much
exactly
information
that red
out
pill
there,
stuff is weak, honestly.
It's crazy.
Upset men. That's
but
all
I think
that is.
that's.
But the thing is what happens before the podcast and everything? How do men are learning before?
I mean, I think it was different. I think people.
Yeah, because they had a father in the house most cases.
Yeah, I mean, I was gonna say it's definitely different. So now you have to be creative, but to avoid like the whole like thing of like, what do you trust? I think that's why it's important to look at people, to have mentors and look at people that are in spaces and places that you
mentors, male figures.
Yeah, I mean, but even like I have some mentors that are men and still provide valuable like resources on like books to read and podcasts to listen to and all of that stuff. So you you have to find it somewhere else. And maybe they don't have all the answers, but maybe they have resources for you that provide more insight into it.
And I want to apologize for interrupting. I told you I'm feeling mean.
No, it's okay.
I just, and also too, it's just like I feel like very passionate about in this recent years. I am all for, and this is what I mean by the hypocritical comments. I'm all for any community. I'm not going to say that community. I'm all for anything you believe in. I'm all for you living your way to the fullest. And if you think that a woman should be the male provider, and I mean not the male provider, but the hunter gatherer, all those things, I mean I'm not gonna support you because you're doing your own thing, but I'll support you if you're in my life.
Yeah.
I don't have a problem with anyone doing that. I just, hate me or not, feel as if this world is, there's males and there's females, and this is an aggressive clip, and I'm scared right now. There's males and there's females, and I feel like it's becoming one, and I think it's showing. And I'm not mad at the people that are becoming one. Like I said, do you? But I just feel as if these reasons are because of roles that males are playing in other males' lives and women are playing in women's lives, and I think it's becoming a single mother teaching most kids and most families. And it's like, yes, there's some good co-parenting and everything like that, but most people grew up with just their mom in the house in this modern day. And I feel like it is starting to merge male values and women values.
But that's on, like, I'm not going to say that I necessarily disagree with you, but I think, you deal with the situation that you were brought up in, but at some point, and I think we've maybe talked about this, on an episode that wasn't recorded, but that's when it's your job to really like self-reflect and have that awareness and know where to go. Because coming from somebody who was raised by a single parent, on the flip side, I've struggled quite a bit in relationships because I don't know what you're supposed to look for in a good quality man. I don't know what a healthy relationship between a man and a woman look like. So I've had to figure it out through trial and error. And basically, like, at this point, I can't even tell you what it does look like, but I can tell you what it doesn't look like because of the experiences that I've been through. But I think you also have to get to a space where you make a decision that you are going to teach some of that to yourself, or you're going to look for outward sources to provide a role model. Because unfortunately, that is the situation that a lot of people grow up in. Like, and we have to decide, but if people don't want to do that, we also can't force them to do that either.
Morgan, how do you feel about this?
Which part?
Just the overall senses of it. Like, do you agree? Do you disagree? Do you have your own opinion? Like,
I mean, I agree. I think that, like, I grew up the same way, and I struggle in my relationships as well. But I think that we all have a responsibility to figure that out and move forward. I don't know. I feel like what you're saying, you're basically saying that there's not like a male figure, so it's harder for, you're saying like the two genders are like merging into one as far as their characteristics and roles in life.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I think so personally.
Okay.
It's like when we say self-reflect, I agree. We people need to self-reflect. Some people are able to do that without guidance. Some people don't know. I had this dream like a year ago, and it made me cry a lot for some reason. Really weird dream. And shout out to my dad, but I had a dream that he was programming me and my brother. And I felt like everything he taught us was what, and I don't mean to get in race, was what a black African American dad would teach. I also think the black African American culture is taught and broken to us. So when we grow up with our parents, we think subconsciously what they teach us is right.
Yeah.
So sometimes when we are drilled for how many ever years you spend with your parents, this is right, your morals also lie within those things are right. So therefore, I could swear by how I feel about something, but that's what was taught by our parents.
Yeah.
It's not necessarily taught by what's right and wrong. So if I say men should open the door for a woman, all these men might have grown up without their dad to do that. My dad would be like, Miles, you better open the door for Sam. I'm like, I am. Hold on, relax. But, you know, at the same time, like sometimes I say, well, if this is how I feel because what my parents taught me, what can also be wrong about what they taught me? So if I feel this way so subconsciously that I'm not doing anything wrong, I'm living right. My parents taught me this, and this is what I believe too. So then I say, how can some people think they need to reflect because that's why I feel so strongly about all this stuff we've been talking about over the episodes, is because this dream like really just, I don't know, I swear I was on shrooms or something. It really just, something in it just made me say, let me step back and make sure that I'm being the man that I want to be for my future, for my friends, for my family, for anything, for future kids. Let me make sure that I'm being the right type of man. And am I, you know? Like I'll walk in.
Based off of your own definition or the definition that you feel like your dad has laid out for you?
Well, I've put it in question. I put it in question as far as like, okay, is this what I should believe, or is this what he believes? And I just, because one thing about me that what I really struggle with my dad is I try to be him. And sometimes I don't think, shout out to him, he was a great dad,
yeah,
but he's not who I want to be.
But I think that is, I don't think everybody has the ability to self-reflect. We know that.
So how though?
But I don't think it's a how thing. I think you just either like, you know, sometimes I think we just are like, well, what made you figure it out? I don't think there's ever any of that. Like, it's just one of those things, like, you either stay on the hamster wheel of life and go through the motions of what you've taught.
Most people do.
Yeah, or you make a decision not to. Like, I'm very transparent. Like, I love my mom to death. Like, when I say my mom is my ride or die, like, ride or die, will pull up for me, do whatever I ask. But I'm very transparent about the fact that I do not want to be her. And she knows that. Like, and I'm very transparent about that for that same kind of reason that you're talking about. Like, there's things that she taught me that I agree with, but there's also things as I've gotten older that I realize, like, I think you have to get to a point where you realize, like, our parents grew up in a very different time and age than we did. And I think sometimes we have to step back and go, some of the things that they taught us were best for what they had going on then, which is why, kind of going back to your previous thing of like men playing the men role and women playing the women role, I feel like we're in a space in society where those can blend a little bit depending upon the relationship with the two people, because society isn't the same. Like, a lot of the things that our parents drilled into us, it's because they were raised in a different time, like a time, like my mom. Now, I'm lucky my mom didn't raise me like this, but my mom was raised in a household where, like, you didn't talk about sex, you didn't talk about drinking, you didn't talk about your emotions, you didn't talk about any of that stuff. And she made a decision to raise me differently, but that's because we were moving into a space where that was okay. So I think sometimes we have to think about like that too when we talk about like, oh, can the roles blend? It's like, I think we're in a space now where they can more, and it just depends upon what you and your partner feel like is fair. I think there's people that want the traditional man and woman relationship, and that's great, and I think there's people that don't, and I think that's great for them too. Like, it really just depends upon your personal like experience and what you look for in a partner. Like, I want a man that's a man but also has a soft side, because I grew up in households where men were so unconnected from their partner because they weren't allowed to be soft because they had to be men. And I personally don't have a desire for that. But that doesn't mean that you don't. That doesn't mean that somebody else doesn't. Like, it's all dependent upon what works for that person.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I feel like it just, I don't know. I just look like, for me, even just kind of sometimes, like I've told y'all in the past, people have messaged me and asking guys struggle with it. So I don't know entirely if I disagree.
I mean, if you're struggling with it, that's a good sign in itself. Right? Because you know that you have an issue, whether it's brought up in conflict in your relationships or, you know, whatever it may be, you have this self-awareness that something is not right here.
Well,
and so
Morgan, so what if they're blaming? What if
so they're blaming the other person, they're not taking accountability?
Yeah, you see guys being like, oh, woman, like literally what the guys in those comments were like, woman this, woman that, woman that.
So like, give me an example.
So one dude was like, oh, I'm going to read it. But basically they were overall just saying like, women don't appreciate this and women wonder why they're old and single, basically.
Old and single. So if you find that a woman doesn't appreciate something that you're doing for her, move on. Like, why would you want to be with somebody like that anyways? It's not like every woman is unappreciative. And so if that's something that you're looking for, then you have to be aware of that. Are these guys, whether you want to call them, I don't know what you want to call them, but
what do you want to call them?
Are these guys picking the wrong women?
Or is it themselves? And I think it's themselves. Just like when people say social media is a problem. I think it's yourself.
But then it also comes back to, too, the same thing of, like, do you actually – I think a lot of times, like, I think we do this both ways, men and women. Like, you made an assumption that she would like these things. And so you can't be butthurt.
But that's what I'm saying. So like, the question is how – the thing is like, okay, if I go on 10 dates and 9 of the 10 girls all feeling the same ways, you know, like, oh, she didn't like me or she didn't appreciate this or that. To me,
if you've gone on 9 dates and none of them like the fact that you got them flowers, then there is something wrong with you and your core, and you need to self-reflect.
But this was on.
100%. Like at that point,
but
if you're 9 for 10, like if you go on 10 dates with a girl and you get flowers for all 10 of them and only one of them appreciates that, I can just tell you your odds are off. You're either not vetting the girls to see if you actually have a connection, you don't know what you like, or you're picking the wrong girls. At that point, you really got to self-reflect, because that's wild. Because, Morgan, you would think out of 10, at least half of them.
That's wild.
At least half of them would.
Know. That wasn't an actual statistic.
No, I know. I'm just giving an example. Like, at least I would say at least half of them would be impressed by the fact that you got them flowers on the first date.
But the thing is, like, we're all agreeing on this. So it's not that point. It's the point. It's not even a point. It's a question of, people need to do self-reflecting. But how do they self-reflect? Like, what do they say? All right. This is the question, right? I went on 9 dates, and all of them didn't like me. It's me. What do you do now? What do I do now? Reflect on what? My day? Like how my day went?
Well, who are these women that you're picking? Are you actually going out with
people you
women
think you're compatible with?
Yeah, that are compatible.
How do you find that?
Or are these just people that happen to want to also go on the date with you, so you're kind of saying, okay, like whoever wants to come out with me, let's go. Like that's not gonna, I mean, maybe some people say it's a numbers game.
Here's a good question.
But hold on,
how do you look for your male? You
hold on, before you go back to that one, I just want to acknowledge the first question that you asked. I think the hey, I've been on 10 dates and none of them have liked me, that's your moment to self-reflect. And maybe that means you list out like something as simple as, hey, these are my best qualities and these are my worst qualities. We all have bad qualities, and then you work on the bad like there's your self-reflection right there. If you stop to think none of them liked me, that's the start of your self-reflection, and you should lean into that feeling.
What do you guys think about feedback from a date?
From the person?
Like, if it's not working out, what do you think it would be really weird and cringe for a man to say, hey, you know,
you didn't
I
work
get that
because
you didn't really like me. Do you think you could give me some feedback about like my
I think I would kind of be impressed if a guy, I've never had that happen, but if a guy did that, I think I would kind of be impressed by that and be like, yeah, here's your. But I'm also like weird.
I knew you would. I was gonna say Shay like that.
I'm an over communicator, so I definitely would be like, well, here's the list of things that like rubbed me the wrong way. Here you go.
What do you?
1A, B, C, 2.
Would you like it?
Would you do it?
I mean, it definitely wouldn't make me like him.
No. I'm not saying it would make me like him, but I would respect the fact that he like.
Right. Yeah.
Fellas, don't do that, please. Women, don't do that, please. If a girl did that, I'd be like, she is insane. That would be
Well,
my
but
first one.
at that point, does it really matter? You're not going out with this
Yeah,
person
I would think
again,
if I was like, hey, if the guy was like, hey, I know like we didn't vibe, like
Don't
was
do
there anything I did that like
I'm
I
going
mean, you
crazy.
have nothing.
I'm
but
going
at
crazy
that-
on you
Yeah,
on
what
the
do you have to
rebuttal.
lose?
But at that point,
I'm
you
going
have
crazy on
thank
the
you.
rebuttal.
You have nothing left to lose.
right.
If-
If we're
But
like,
here's the
hey,
thing.
we're not a
Asking-
match.
But here's the
Good
thing.
luck to you.
Here's the
Asking
thing.
or giving, like unsolicited feedback.
No,
Morgan.
not unsolicited.
But
If-
Morgan, here's the thing: men will never ask that, and you can clip. This is gonna be clippable. Their egos are not gonna allow them to ask that question.
I've seen it.
Their egos. You've
Seen
seen
it.
somebody ask
Yes.
for the feedback, really?
Yes.
Because I would
What did
think
I do
most men,
wrong?
their ego would not allow them after a first date or after you've been dating.
After a first date.
Like, what did I do wrong is really the question.
What did they?
Yeah.
Go into detail
Yeah.
about this. So, is that what they asked? What they did wrong?
It was like something to the fact of, like what did, was there something that was off-putting about like
What
me
did you
or like something like
say?
that?
That right there is the
that's
self-reflecting thing you need to do. That is what you do not do. But men don't get that. I don't know why they don't get that. That is the craziest thing ever. Oh,
What did you say back, Morgan? Oh, I would have typed a paragraph.
I don't think I was honest. I think maybe I wasn't. But I think
It was me. It wasn't you.
Oh, I would have typed a paragraph.
I think I just said that like we weren't compatible. You know.
No, I would have had a
It's,
Morgan.
you-
I literally would have been like, number 1, you didn't open the door. Number 2, your shirt was wrinkled. Number 3, you couldn't carry a conversation.
You had pasta sauce on the edge of your mouth
What
the
was your-
whole time. It was right in the corner.
What would
I
y'all
would have
do?
had a whole list, Morgan.
What would y'all do if y'all got unsolicited dating? I mean, unsolicited like non-compatible advice.
That shit irritate. Like,
God.
okay, have you ever had like a guy like in things and then like just be like, hey, it's not gonna work out, and then be like they patronize you and be like, but you're like really a great person and like your vibe is so cool and da-da-da. I want to be like, I didn't need that. Like, thank you for that, but
They're
like
trying to
was
soften the
yeah, it's
blow.
like wasn't necessary. Like, I hate that shit. It grinds my gears.
I don't know if
Like,
I've had.
I think they're trying to be polite. They're trying.
no, but I don't need like I
You don't need it, but they're
you-
trying to be polite.
But it doesn't come. But okay, men, that doesn't. Maybe it's just me, but for me, you can tell me if you feel differently. But that doesn't come across as being nice. It comes across as patronizing.
Yeah,
Like-
don't do that. but-
Like, don't. Yeah, if you're a guy listening, like, if you're gonna end things with a girl, don't tell her, "Hey, it's over,"
Yeah.
but you're amazing and like you have a great. No, just say it's done and move on.
Yeah,
Like,
and don't leave the door open if you're ending something. Don't say it's not right for me right now. Like maybe we can pick up later. Just end it. You know.
just say I'm like literally
just
I'm
say,
done. We had a
I'm
great
not
time
into
while it
it.
lasted.
Yeah.
What do
Whatever.
y'all say to them? Because the fellas need the
Nothing.
help. The fellas need the help.
What do you mean?
Like, so are y'all doing the same thing back? Not giving the unsolicited advice, but like, maybe just not right now. It's not the right timing. How can they get the hint? What hints aren't they? Okay, here's the question. What hints aren't men catching at the end of non-workout dates? Working out, like, doesn't work.
Well, I think our response to like, if you're reaching out to us and it's very dry, like that should be a hint. If we're not really reciprocating,
Yeah, I'm not the person
going
that-
out again. I would just say, hey. No, I wouldn't say I had a great time. if
I
I
feel
Sorry,
like
I've been really busy.
We're not a match. We're not
Yeah, I was gonna
compatible. I wish you luck.
I was gonna
You're
say
not saying
no,
that.
no, no.
Oh, yes,
I feel-
I am.
Okay,
Yeah,
okay,
I was
never
gonna.
mind.
I was gonna say. I feel like, and I was like, maybe I'm the wrong person to ask,
I
but
wouldn't say wish you luck.
you're kind of saying the same thing. Like, I'm not gonna sugarcoat it. I'm literally gonna be like, hey, I just don't think we're compatible. Like, thanks
You know
for
what?
the date,
I
but
lied. I'm sorry.
that's what
I
I'm
don't
gonna
say any of that. I ghost. I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
Morgan!
I lied. I don't say any of that. I
You
just
ghost.
don't respond.
No, I'm not gonna ghost. I literally will just like I've been on first dates and texted afterwards and been like, thanks for the date. Don't think we're compatible. Like, it's not
Damn,
gonna happen
okay.
again. Like,
So that's a character. That's something I need to work on, I guess.
But I feel
no,
like-
I don't think so.
but I
because
feel
a-
like women
Isn't
don't
ghosting
really.
bad?
But I feel like women don't really leave. Like, I mean, maybe I'm wrong, but I feel like when I think about it as a whole, I feel like we really don't leave the door open like that.
Yeah, y'all
it's
do.
either I feel like we either ghost or we just tell we either ghost or we tell you we don't want to go on a date again. If we're leaving the door open, it's because we haven't made a decision. I feel like men make a decision that they don't want to date a girl and then still leave the door cracked.
Here's where I'm at with it. It comes back to reading the room. If I'm sitting across this girl and I can tell she isn't on point and I'm not on point, or she, or she doesn't think I'm on point, I'm gonna step back regardless. If we're not clicking on the first time, it's it. Just wrap it up. Don't even worry about it. Like
But
I don't
people-
think you need a text of confirmation of it didn't work. Like, how was that date? How did the date go? If you don't know how the date
Yeah.
went, sitting there, you got the problem right there.
But I don't feel like I don't necessarily agree with that because I think sometimes people can be nervous or sometimes it's harder to read somebody's vibe until you get to know them.
You know what I'm gonna say to
So
that?
hold on, let me finish my thought. So I think if you didn't vibe, I don't think there's anything wrong with you following up and being like, hey, we didn't vibe. Like, just want to clarify. Now, if it's somebody that you've been on 2 or 3 dates with and, like, you thought you were vibing and then, like, by date 3, I can tell. Like, if you're off, we don't need any follow-up after that because I can tell because we've gone on some dates. But if it's the first date, you can't always read somebody's energy right. You're making an assumption off of somebody that you don't really know.
Yeah, and I don't think after the first date you owe anybody hey, we didn't vibe. Like, it's a first date.
See, but
I don't think
you
let it go.
I don't think you owe it. It's just something, like I said, I'm an over communicator. So I'm going to send you
Yeah.
the text and be like, thanks for the date. Wasn't feeling it. Like,
I mean,
nice
I'll say
to know
thank
you.
but
now you can go with your thought, Miles, now that I completed mine.
I got bad
Lost it.
thoughts. Nah, I just feel this is how I feel, right? You go on a date. If y'all don't click, if we don't make each other feel comfortable on the first date, pass. That's my personal opinion. That's my personal
I think
opinion.
that's how like guys kind of are if it's the first. But I think women are more likely to give guys a second chance on like a second date,
Unless
or-
the first one was horrible.
Yeah.
But what sign? So I guess
like if you're on edge.
So I guess let's say, because we're also making an assumption that everybody knows how to read other people's vibes, and clearly,
Nah, we not.
clearly a lot of people don't. So I guess like Miles, from a man's perspective, like as a woman, what signs should I look for if I'm on a first date with a guy to know that he's not vibing?
He ain't asking you questions about your life.
Okay, what else?
He's not trying to touch your elbow.
Y'all sit next to
Your
each
arm.
other on the
No,
date.
no, Miles, I really want to know your opinion, so that way
Together
then,
on the booth.
then Morgan can give her reverse opinion. So if they're not asking you questions about yourself, what else?
Here, I'll make it way more simpler.
Okay.
For a woman, if the guy doesn't text you that night first, you lost. That's it.
I would agree with that.
That's it.
Mostly, yeah.
Look, women run the world.
But is there
A
anything?
man wants a woman so bad. That's why they all so butthurt. If a man doesn't chase the woman, it's over. Give up on it, ladies. That's it. That's it. I don't. You can't
So
convince
if
me
he doesn't
otherwise.
text you at the end of the night saying,
Hey, I had a good night. Oh, I hope I get to see you soon. Anything along those lines.
"Hope you got home safe,"
You know, I agree with that. I really do.
do you think that like "Hope you got home safe"? Like,
Here. Woman, don't text the man first after the first date. That'll be your way, you know. If you can't read a room, ladies, don't text the man first after the first date.
Yeah.
If he don't text you, it's over. And if you chase him, even if he gives you the chance, it'll be over eventually.
I agree. Okay,
Seriously.
agree.
Women should never chase. I really look, this is the thing with the little red pill and stuff like that. Women should never chase. Men will chase. Women should never chase. If a woman chases, they are going to get done dirty. Period. No way around it. Women should be chased.
Look, I agree. And there's always an exception to the rule. Like
Always.
there's always an exception. If there's someone out there like, oh, like I chased the guy I liked and now we're married and whatever. Like,
but I think
get
there's
it,
a difference
but-
between putting forth effort and chasing. Like, I think it's a fine line, but I think there is a fine line of like, hey, I'm clearly interested in you. I'm gonna show you that I'm interested, and then chasing. Like, I think there's a difference.
How about this? If you think you're a high value woman and you're chasing, you lost. And you're not a high value woman. No, that's not true. You're not. No. I take back that you're not a high value woman. That is not true. That was crazy. No, I didn't mean that at all. All I'm saying is, a woman should put in effort as well. But I'm just saying the main clue for the clueless women that don't know how to read one is if you are texting this man first when you get off. I mean, when y'all leave the date, 9 times out of 10, you lost.
Yeah,
and if you think you're a high value woman, you shouldn't even be with a guy like that. Not saying it can't work. How about this? Not saying it can't work. But if you think you're a high value woman, do not settle for anything less.
Yeah, because that shows, I think pursuit is important up to a certain extent. Obviously, when you get to a certain extent, it's going to become more of a give and take back and forth. But I definitely think in the beginning, you're right. Like, the man should be putting forth the effort to take the initiative, to plan dates, to make time and all of that stuff, because that's how you know that they're invested. Now, Morgan, from the woman's side, what do you think, like, for us, like, our telltale signs on a date for, like, the guys that are listening to be like, maybe she's not as interested as I thought she was? Like, what do you feel like you do when you're on that date and you're maybe not as into them as you thought you were?
I am very much a physical touch person. If I like you, you're gonna know. I'm gonna be like,
yeah, that's me too.
Arm or something like that. But it's hard to say because I just feel like there's a vibe like that you can catch.
Yeah. I also feel like it's harder because
they ain't catching.
But I think it's also harder because of what you were saying earlier. Like, women I feel like a lot. Now, are there exceptions to this? Of course. But I feel like there's a lot of times that we leave first dates that we haven't made a decision. Like sometimes there are dates you leave and you're like, oh yeah, I'm really vibing with him. And there's other ones you leave where you're like, I really need a second date to make a.
I don't know. I feel like I know.
Yeah, and I would love to do a poll. The woman that went on the second date because they weren't sure, I would like to stand on. They're probably not in that relationship still.
Oh, I mean, more than likely not. But sometimes I think we do kind of give a second chance. But I think the touching thing, I think even girls that are not physical touch would say, like, if you're into a guy at some point during the dinner, I'm going to touch you at some point.
Yeah.
Whether it be your arm, your hand, your something. I think the other. At least for me, the other telltale is, if I don't hold a conversation or, my answers are really, really short, then that's the other way.
Everything's different.
Tell.
My smile is different. My eyes are different. My tone of voice is different. But, I mean, I guess how are you going to know what the
I think the big things for, as women, I think we naturally, if we're interested in somebody, want to tell them about ourselves. So kind of in the way Miles was if he's not asking questions about you, then he's not interested. If she's not giving you in-depth answers back, then I kind of feel like she's not interested.
How about this one?
Do you agree with that, Morgan? Or?
For the most part,
maybe not crazy in depth, but if I'm just giving you real short answers, then I already have decided that I don't want you to be a part of my life. As fucked up as that sounds.
Right.
I feel like if that woman's not trying to go on that second date very shortly after, then men also dip. I think if a woman likes the man, unless for whatever reason, exceptions, they got stuff going on. Most likely, that woman's going to want to go on that date
within the next week.
Yeah.
Yes.
And if they say, "Oh, I can't, I'm busy," tail out, fellas.
Yep.
Tail out.
Yeah.
I mean, I think these are really good tips, honestly, because we all keep saying, which is, oh, read the room. But I think, like I said, people can't read the room. People don't know how to read the room. There's exceptions, but most people. I'm going to say most men do not know how to read a room. And I feel like the ones that are struggling dating, if you do that extra texting, if you do all that other mess.
If there's at any point that she doesn't reply to you, she does not like you.
Unless she's really busy, and that's an exception, yes.
I don't think you're too busy to send a reply to someone's text.
I don't think that, because even the guy that I'm seeing last weekend, he went to see his parents, and I had texted him earlier in the day. and he texted me back later in the day and was like, hey, I'm on the way home from my parents. Like, once I get settled in, I'll
That's different,
respond
though.
to the stuff. But
We're talking about like first, second
But
date.
she's saying
but
that
I'm
he's
saying,
sending her a
like,
text.
Even so I'm confirming Morgan's point, like, of that you're never too busy, because he still sent a text to say, hey, like, I'm gonna get back to you. If a girl likes, like, she's gonna send something, like, and women, I feel like, multitask more than men do anyways. So it's, for women, there's almost never a time where, like, we're not on our phones, like,
You're right.
and I feel like men are a little bit different because y'all can't be on your phones and do other shit at the same time. Like, I've witnessed it, but women are very easily able to do that. So, like, if she's not responding, like, that's your reasoning right there.
And I feel the same way about a guy. If I'm not getting a response from someone, that's it.
He ain't the one for you.
I'm never gonna text you again.
Yeah.
I'm off it. That's
so,
like.
So Miles, kind of going on what you were saying, like reading the room. I think that the other thing that guys struggle with too is like reading the room when you're out, because at this, like, you get to a certain point in life where, like, the high quality women are no longer going to be on dating apps. They're no longer going to necessarily be in the bar. Like, they may be on occasion. So it's like reading the room in other circumstances, and I feel like guys are sometimes really bad about that. Like,
No, there are a lot of times.
like knowing how to read the room. Like, women are subtle, but I also feel like in the same way we're very, very clear. Like, if we're in any setting and I continually make eye contact with you, Morgan, tell me if you feel differently, but for me, like, that's a green light. If I'm continuing to, like, I'm not going to approach you, because I feel like when we talk about chasing, like, a high quality woman is not going to, I mean, it's true. Like,
I agree.
They're not going to go up to the guy. I mean, I'm not going to say I never have, like, give me enough tequila shots in and I'll talk to anybody at the bar. But, like, for the most part, I'm not going to approach you. I'm going to make multiple times where I'm going to look you dead in your eyes. And I feel like that should be going right over men's head.
I'm glad you said that.
Well, it's also, maybe it doesn't go over their head, but that might be daunting for a lot of people to go up to a woman and, you know, you have a possible rejection on your hands or embarrassment in front of your friends. Or I'm just saying, like, it's valid if you feel like it's hard to go up to a woman who's just maybe giving you some eye contact.
Yeah, but then if you want to relate, but men are out here talking about, like, they want the right quality girls. Like, you have to do that, because the high quality ones are not going to come up to you and be like, hey, da-da-da. Like, I mean,
and the more you do it, the more comfortable you will feel, I think. So.
Yeah, I think that's what I'm saying. Men need to do better at that. If you, I said this on the old one, said, if a girl pulls up to me in the club, she's a thought to me. I don't mean that entirely, but like you said, a high value woman may give you that eye contact. She's going to give you those clues and everything. But if a woman pulls up to you, I'm just saying that chemical mess might be a little messed up.
Yeah,
but,
and I might even go as far as, like, if we've made eye contact and I can see that you've made eye contact back and I can feel that you're hesitating, I may go even as far as, like, positioning myself maybe closer to you in the gym or the bar or something like that. But it's like, ultimately, like, at some point, if you're saying that's what you desire is a relationship and you desire a high quality woman, then at some point you are going to have to take a step. Like,
check this out.
I'm not coming all the way to you.
If I overly see me, I'm not saying this is a general, like, rule or whatever. If I see a woman's overly eye contacting and overly positioning,
I didn't say overly. Why
I
you gotta
didn't say
take
that.
everything to the extreme?
I'm not talking about you.
I was like, that's not even what I said.
I'm just saying in general. If
Okay.
because I've experienced that.
Well, I mean, there's creeper eye contact.
If
like, if
That's
she's
what I'm
staring,
imagining.
like
No,
I'm
even
talking
if
about
it's- even if it's, like,
glances.
every time I look over and you're looking at me, I'm gonna be like, oh yeah, she's trying to get hit tonight.
We're talking about glance.
I'm talking about my own
No,
situation.
no. I know. I just want to clarify for the gentleman. We're talking about if she's glancing. If she's staring at you, run. She's a psycho.
Yeah, but this is at least the last question that I have. If you are, I'll say older, right? If you're in that 30 mark,
Oh, can't relate. Sorry, guys.
and I was just thinking about this. Where does a man or even a woman, but more, yeah. Where does a man or a woman find love at 30 years old?
God gonna have to drop him on my doorstep. I'm not even 30 yet, and at this point,
I think it comes with you finding what you like and your hobbies, finding something that you genuinely enjoy doing, whether, I don't need to name things. There's a million hobbies out there. But I think that's where you find your people.
Yeah, I think it's
in community. Not at the bar. I mean, maybe you can, but
rarely.
That's...
I'm going to the bar.
I think what you're saying, like hobbies, but I think also too, like if you're really trying to find somebody, of course, like you can't seek out a relationship, like that never works. But I think putting yourself in like places where you're maybe uncomfortable. So like, fellas, go to the bar solo. Like there are a lot of like, hold on. Let me rephrase. When I say bar, I mean like the bar at a nice restaurant. Let me rephrase that. Because I know a lot of girls who will go and have dinner solo at the bar and sit at the bar and have a drink and eat a meal, but guys don't do that solo. So I think doing things like
red flag. Sorry.
Doing things that you're comfortable with and like you're like that, yes, but then also putting yourself in different situations. Like go to a coffee shop you don't normally go to the farmer's market solo. Like doing things like outside of your comfort zone also creates a space or an opportunity for you to meet somebody.
I think it's just rough for men in that situation too, because let's be real. If a dude comes up to you, unless they're just feeling you, if a dude comes up to you in the store or whatever, where you're just trying to go grocery shopping and you're just trying to, do this, I feel like a lot of times women feel like, I already know what's about to happen. And it's game. Like, it doesn't always game over unless they think they're cute or whatever, but a lot of times it's that pre-assumption that they're about to hit on me kind of flips that switch of like attractiveness for them.
Well, no, I'm saying that
I get what you're saying.
Yeah.
So what I'm saying is I think it creates an opportunity for like an organic connection, right? Because like let's say, because I've had it happen to me before. Like I go to the restaurant, I sit at a bar, you sit at and sometimes it's guys and sometimes it's girls. I've met friends this way. You sit at the bar, you go to a restaurant, you sit at the bar, you order food, you have a drink, somebody sits beside you. If you're both there solo, more than likely you're going to end up in some sort of conversation. Doesn't mean it turns romantic, but I think it creates a space for that to happen. For example, go into the farmer's market or a coffee shop. I'm not saying that like like somebody's going to just up and approach you, but what if you're at a farmer's market and it's the guy that's selling fruit or it's the girl that's selling fruit, or like it creates a space for like, I mean, as dumb as this sounds, like it does happen. Like maybe you guys have a conversation over like the fruit that's on the stand, like as stupid as that sounds, but like it puts you in a space for there to be a chance for an organic connection to happen in those spaces. I'm not talking about like, don't go to the farmer's market and walk around the farmer's market looking for some random girl to approach. Like, no, I'm not saying that, but I'm saying putting yourself in spaces like that creates a chance for kind of the universe to like maybe align somebody naturally, whereas like that may never have happened if you didn't decide to go sit in the coffee shop or go to the farmer's market or go do whatever is kind of what I'm talking about. Right. Especially if you're in a space where like you're not actively seeking a relationship, but you're putting out into the universe that you're ready to maybe meet somebody. I think you then have to put yourself in situations where you allow that to happen. I think sometimes we go and do the same things every day and then we're like, well, why aren't we meeting anybody? It's like, because you're not creating a space for that to happen, I guess is what I'm kind of trying to say.
Where do you do it, Morgan? Or I mean, where would you do it?
Where would I pick up a guy?
Pick up a guy sounds a little,
I'm fucking.
Yes, you can.
Okay.
I've cursed.
I don't think I've said the F word.
I just don't cuss. I don't cuss.
No, I'm pretty sure I've dropped every curse word on the podcast
already.
Yeah,
I feel like I haven't, so that just felt like a little awkward. So I had this. I think you're right. And I've spent a lot of time alone doing things just on my own, and I've had that happen to me a lot. But I can't say that it's been more successful for them in that space. I had a guy come up to me at the mall when I was on crutches, and he was really cute. And so we ended up going out on the date, and then he was really, really weird. And so I think it's hard because you don't get a good sense, at least on social media or a profile, you're able to kind of get a good idea, hopefully, of these people. And I think that's what's good about it. You know, people really shit on the dating apps, and granted, you can put anything you want to out there. You could put on a complete facade. But I think it does give you a little bit of insight to who these people are and kind of expedites the vetting process a little bit.
So you're pro dating apps over like just putting yourself in situations where you may.
I think there needs to be a healthy mix, but yeah, I don't know. I think as far as I think a good thing to do is to go out with your boys to a bar and then like meet with a group of people. I think that kind of takes the pressure off of like the going there solo and like feeling like you need to meet somebody. I don't know.
Yeah,
but
I think that for me, I would go to a club or a bar, not like no laid back bar. I would go to a bar because for me personally, because I keep saying me personally because I'm picky, I'm prudish, and I feel that I don't need to settle in any way possible. I'm not saying that, whatever. I'm in a relationship. So it's over, right? But prior to a relationship, if I were single now, the reason why I would go to the club, not only because I'm a surveyor, but I'm going to say, yeah, the statistics are low, but I'm going to say, okay, these group of girls, this one girl, I think she's cute, whatever. We made eye contact or whatever, but she's had 5 drinks. Oh, I seen her the next weekend. Oh, she's twerking crazy on random. I'm going to do my statistics and weed out. Like, I'm going to say, okay, this girl right here, she's with her friends and she's a little two-stepping and she looks fun and she's been holding that one drink. I'm going to be like, you know what? She might just be out with her girls. You know what I'm saying? And I'm going to test that one out rather than me going out to, and there's nothing wrong with that. People do. And my homie said the same thing, like that they would go to an older bar and find it. To me, at 30 years old.
But I think that goes to say like the places where a guy would find a girl and a girl would find a guy are not the same. Because if we flip-flop that, like more than likely the likelihood that I am like, as I've gotten older, it's like guys kind of tend to fall in one line or the other. They either never go out or they're in the streets.
Yeah.
Like when you start to get in that 30 range. So it's like at that point, any guy that I see in the club at 30, especially if I know you've been out more than one weekend, like you're still in the streets. Like, I'm sorry,
sure.
It is what it is. You're still in the streets. Where it's like, I feel like it's a little bit flip-flop for women. Like, you may still even see a girl that's been out, maybe she went out this weekend and last weekend with her girls, but is really, like, just out to have a good time with her girls. I feel like, I'm not saying that men don't go out with their boys just to go out with their boys, but I feel like it's a little bit different. So I feel like it's valid for maybe a man to meet, or more likely for a man to meet a decent girl in a bar than a girl to meet a decent guy in the bar. Not that it can't happen,
agree.
of
no,
course.
I agree.
But that's why that's
sure.
not my top place, because I don't want the guy that's going to be in the club every weekend.
Yeah, I agree for sure. I think, and when I say, oh, she's been out multiple weekends, a lot of these red flags that I say aren't cancels. They're
mental notes.
Mental
Deal
notes
breaker.
of no, not deal breakers necessarily.
I'm saying they're not deal
but
breakers.
It's like, I'm going to be like, okay, she's been out this weekend. She's been out this weekend. When I do approach her, because I'm not saying I wouldn't approach a girl that I've seen out 2 weekends. If I do approach her because I think she looks good or she looks apart, after I've surveyed, I'm gonna see what she's talking about. And if she's going out again this weekend, personally, as my standard, I'm gonna say there's nothing wrong with that. I'm good. You enjoy.
Also, Miles, you have a very good view to survey from.
Yeah. And I'm sober. I don't drink. So
Miles has got a very good surveying view. I can't really see shit in the club.
yeah, no, but I agree with you. Women,
No.
you're less.
I was like, wait, what are you talking about?
It's like,
But-
like Miles can see over the whole damn club. Miles be like, that one and that one over there and
Yeah,
that
I'm
one
not
right there.
seeing
I can't
anything.
see anything.
Yeah, but I just think it's hard for some guys, and if you're a male and you're struggling in that sense. First of all, if I got broke right now, I'm getting me a 25-year-old, 26-year-old. I'm going younger, for sure.
Never mind.
That's
I was
such a
gonna be
weird
like,
thing
how?
to say.
I was gonna be
Sorry.
like, no. I was
I
gonna be
said
like,
the age first.
no, but I was like, you're acting like that's so. I mean, I'm only 27, so I'm like, that's not 25, 26. How old are you, Miles?
30 in a couple months.
Oh, that's not that. You acted like that was way younger. That's not that much younger.
Yeah, 25, 26 is.
But that's just because I
That's
date.
the 25, 26-year-old is where I feel like a woman starts becoming to,
Well, I was dating.
what they feel like they're, and it's not like say exceptions, but I feel like that's where women start to really, okay, I might want to settle down, I might want to do this. I feel like that's.
So
that
you're gonna
age.
go for one that's a little bit wild still.
No. That's the
you
age
what?
where they break.
Oh, okay. Yeah, because
Tw-
I always date guys in
What?
their 30s.
Usually break.
Where
yeah.
they break.
No, because
Yeah,
Guys are 30.
You're,
Do you
you're
date-
looking for a life. Well, I'm saying if you were to break
Single,
up or whatever,
yeah.
looking for a life partner that isn't in the party stage. So you're making an assumption that this is the age for a
Most.
majority that they're going to be looking for going into the next
So
stage of their life.
what
that
do we-
hasn't had all this baggage and everything.
So
Yeah,
what do we say is
exactly.
the age? So you're saying like 25, 26 for girls. Morgan, what do you think for guys? Because I generally date over 30. Like my last two exes have been, I mean, the guy I'm seeing now is early 30s, and the guy that I was seeing beforehand was mid 30s.
My last two
Like,
relationships have been younger, and I think if I were, if
Is
I
your
were
current
to have
boyfriend
another-
younger?
Yeah.
Okay.
So
Okay, Morgan over here robbing the cradle.
a little cougar action. No, but I think that I've grown up a lot, and so in my past relationships, I feel like I have been a little immature, and I haven't been ready to I don't know, really grow up. But I think so in the future, if that were to happen, but I would go for older.
Maybe I should try. I mean, maybe I should go younger. The going older hasn't been
Don't go
doing me
younger.
any. My mom told me one time, she was like, "No, I just think you need to go older." I was like, "Mom, the last two
I'm
I've
gonna
dated."
go way older.
No. My mom literally told me, I was like, the last two I dated were like early 30s, mid 30s. She was like, "Yeah, I think you need to go like close to 40." I was like,
Don't do
"Yo,
that.
mom, like,
Yeah,
chill
I mean,
out."
I mean, shoot.
Close to
creeping
40
up.
is wild. Like, that's 10 years older than me. Like, more than 10 years older
But
than
women
me.
are a lot more mature, even at whatever age. I don't care. So
That's true.
I say like
And I think my life experiences have made me older than I am.
I may be wrong for this, but I have a exceptional, but I have a cap off age too, and I think women should too. I have a cap off.
Like, you won't date anyone over the age of.
I'm not saying I won't. Am I most likely not going to? Yes.
I mean, I think we.
Yeah.
over 20.
Whoa! I didn't expect him to say. I didn't expect you to say 20s.
That's crazy.
I'm also like settled down. I'm out of the game, right? So it's like 28. I'm gonna, cause look, I gotta stand for the man. Like I said, I'm gonna say my
Yo,
crazy
that
thoughts.
wait. So you're almost 30, and you're saying that you wouldn't date anybody over 28.
Yeah, I'm gonna tell you why.
Okay, I'm curious because I feel
I'm-
like that's wild. Because
I'm ready to get
I know.
I'm
My
ready to get
stop is
canceled.
way older. My
up.
stop is like. I want to say 40
I
would be
feel like
my
I-
stop.
I feel like 45,
I think 40 would be my stop.
and then my youngest would be like 29.
Okay, I don't know why I thought you
What?
were gonna say like 22.
I
22.
think my youngest would be like 25, 26, but they'd have to be like really fucking mature 25, 26.
Don't
like
do it.
no, like I need you to have like been through the trenches basically and to be like extremely mature.
They're gonna be effed up. Don't do it.
Ooh.
I
But what's your cap, Miles?
cap of how old?
Yeah.
Look,
You said 28, but why?
Okay, I'm taking out my 29. Just forget I said that.
Do you want to say the other one, or what's the lowest
No.
before I go? Okay.
What is your lowest, Morgan?
She's like, huh?
She's
Like
like,
you don't got these effing headphones on. Okay. Both sides. That's why I even tell y'all don't go lower.
Okay.
Oh, and it's okay. Exceptions. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to,
Shout out to Morgan's man.
Yeah, shout out to him. You know what I'm saying? No, there's
Okay, so the lowest you would date
I'm not
is...
going to say, hold on. I'm going to say this one last time, and if I take it out of context, take it, and you can take that context and shove
it up here.
When I say anything in this sense, there's exceptions for everything.
We know that, Miles.
But people do not.
What's your youngest and why, and what's your oldest and why? You've already said
28 is, no, 20, my youngest I would date is 25.
Because anything younger than that is immature? Is that
generally,
what you're...
That's
generally.
when the prefrontal cortex develops.
And the oldest
For
I'm going...
whoever said they wanted statistics, there's your statistic.
Right. And the oldest I'm going is 27, 28.
Okay.
That's a very small range.
Because
yeah, that's what I was thinking. Why? They're too set in their ways.
high value women get taken up by high value men. And if you are single, surveying your past relationships, it could have just ended, it could have something, whatever, exceptions.
I'm about to cancel Miles.
If you are that age and you're single,
Miles, I'm about to cancel you.
Go for
I'm going to cancel you.
hey, that's how I feel.
Go in.
What?
Go in, Trey.
What? Because, mind you, I will be 28 in January and I am still single. What if it just took her longer to get to a space of being a high value woman? Or, hold on, what if it took her longer to realize that she was a high value woman and then hold her in that space? Because for me personally, I've done so much growth in the last 6 months that maybe 6 months ago you wouldn't have considered me a high value woman, but I think anybody that comes into contact with me now would. But I also think I'm still learning to hold myself in that space.
Do you want my honest answer?
So when I finish, yes. So I don't think it's fair to say that, oh, well, if you're a high value woman, you would have already been taken, because if I just got there, I've been a high value woman for a year. It's not like high value men are in surplus either. Like, and then timing and all of that other stuff plays a factor into it.
You ready for my answer?
Yes. Tread lightly, sir.
Life ain't fair. I ain't saying there's a surplus. I'm speaking for my personal self.
But you just made a statement of basically saying that if she well, maybe this is not how you intended it. It came across like you were saying if you're actually a high value woman, then by 27, 28, you would have been scooped up. And I don't think that's a valid statement at all.
Okay. My not so nice answer is I don't care what growth you're in. Not you, just general speaking. For me, not, hey, man, you should do this. I'm not preaching, men, you should do this. What I'm saying is if you're just not figuring out, you got to just more figure out a lot more. And Miles Hicks doesn't need to deal with it. That's all I'm saying. I don't think there's anything wrong with you.
Yeah,
I don't think there's anything wrong with the
disagree.
women that there. I don't think there's wrong. I'm not saying that if a woman just figured out that I wouldn't date him. But for me personally, I'm going to statistically speak or think about my opinion, and it's my opinion. If I end up single for the rest of my life, it's because of my opinions. I'm not single, and I don't plan on being single anymore. So for me, I'm literally, call me cocky, call me over, delusional, call me what you want. I personally feel, and I'm okay with take the single route if that were to happen. I'm okay with saying, I don't need to deal with anything that you figured out. I'm not saying you, that they figured out whenever they need to figure it out.
But
I don't care about that. I don't need to know if you become a straight A student and you had straight D's before. I personally say, good for you. You will find a wonderful man. He will find you, not me.
I just don't think I think that's, and again, we're probably not going to agree on this point, But I just think if it took her a while to get to a point where she is able to wear the high value badge or to put herself in a space where she's high value, she probably doesn't have any shit left to figure out, to be honest, because she took her time to label herself as that. She's already figured out all the shit. I think what actually happens is a lot of women label themselves as high women or give the perception that they're high value, but haven't actually done the work to earn that title. To be honest, at 26, 27, let me say it, 25, 26, if you're labeling yourself a high value woman, then you need to have been through some shit and to experience some shit and have done some shit to actually wear that title. If you're wearing that title that early on, it's probably a false title. In my opinion, because you haven't experienced enough life to be able to say that.
I want to say this one last thing, and I want to know your things on it, Morgan.
I want to know your opinion too, Morgan.
I just feel like you're defending it, and you can be 100% right? I'm going to say this.
It's your opinion.
I'm going to go, I'm cocky, and I'm delusional. Let's go with that, okay? Let's just make that the narrative, right?
No, I mean, it's your opinion, 100%.
So, therefore, for me, a woman at 25, 26 that is faking it, Miles is going to be able to tell. That's what I'm saying. I'm not speaking for the general man. I'm speaking for myself. I'm going to be able to tell.
Saying that you want a high value woman truly high value woman that falls in that age range that you gave.
I'm going to find her without having to figure out if you need to figure out a year later or not. No, but I'm saying
it's going to be that the pool that you are going to be pulling from is going to be very, 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 very
and I'm going to be able to do it quickly.
Limited.
I'm going to be able to do it quickly. That's how I feel.
Morgan, please. I'm just going to be like, pick a side, but no.
That's what he likes about it. But
your opinion.
Yeah, that's what I like about it. Thank you, Morgan.
Yeah, that's what he likes about it. But I agree with you.
Yeah.
Like, I agree with you. And I think that it's going to be very, very, very small. I think that as we grow and go through things, we have a better grasp on relationships and reality. And I mean, that's your opinion. Like, that's if you think that and believe that that's where it lies, then maybe you will.
Morgan, do you agree with my statement that, like, if women maybe not every woman, right, but if the majority of women, if they're under a certain age, are labeling themselves as high value, there's probably
I don't know high value woman that labels themselves a high value woman.
I don't think that's necessarily true. I mean, you maybe not are outwardly saying.
That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah. Okay.
But intrinsically, like.
Yeah. I mean, I've said it on here for sake of like.
Yeah.
Knowing context and like knowing where we're saying, but I don't walk around obviously saying that. But would you think like a woman who is that young, who is labeling herself as that, is maybe missing something from the picture? Because if I think about where I was at 25, if I was even self-labeling that it was a false label, whether knowingly or not knowingly, do you kind of agree with that?
Yeah, I agree with that. And I think that you can think that you're high value and that can be true.
But in the grand scheme or comparison to other women, you may not.
Yeah, I think that there's a lot more. Like you said, me at 25 versus me now is
night and day.
Night and day.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think even
and there's
just
nothing
to make
wrong.
thing
I just want to say this for the girls listening. There is nothing wrong if you're that age and you're labeling yourself as that, because I think you're setting yourself on the right path. Right. But I would also just warn you to not be blinded by labeling yourself that, because I think sometimes when we give ourselves labels prematurely, we unintentionally hinder like maybe our growth and development, because we already think we're
same thing with the guys that think it's the girls. The same thing, you're hindering yourself. But on not a liar note, but on the sense of, if I met someone, I'm gonna say in your situation, whatever, I'm not gonna say, and they're in the right place and they give me high value vibes, I'm not saying I would be like, nope, because when's your birthday? Oh, no, you're canceled. What I'm saying is, I personally feel intrinsically, whatever I told y'all before, I feel like I just have this good sense of judge of character. I'm not always right, but I'm willing to take my wrongs with my rights. And what I'm saying is, I'm not saying if I met a girl in the club and she told me she's 28, I'm out. I'm not saying that at all. Or in the bar, in the coffee shop, or wherever it may be. I'm just saying, statistically speaking, I'm going to take my chances with my wrongs and rights, that there's going to be something there that I'm not going to want to deal with personally. And that's just me personally. And that's shout out to all the growth women, because it's different. Same thing with men. Men aren't developing the same way and same age. It goes all the way around. I'm just speaking on my man side, man side of things. Men are lousy. They think they deserve, what's that word? Entitled. They're no good. I think they're no good, majority.
I think the biggest thing is just like, for me, like when we get into that space, is just like, do you have the ability to like grow and self-reflect? I think is the most important part of all of that, like regardless of age or when you came into those feelings, like are you still continuing to like make an effort to elevate yourself regardless of whether you already label yourself as a high value man or a high value woman? Like, are we working to continue to hold that space, or possibly even move up? Elevate is almost more important than where you actually are currently.
I agree, and I think that's a wonderful way to wrap it up. And Morgan, do you have anything you want to say at the end? Throw in the end.
No.
I think we stressed Morgan out today.
No, I have a lot of things. Okay,
no. Say it, because we want to hear what you have to say.
No.
Please.
No.
Please.
No. There's nothing that's like pressing on my mind that I just.
You're lying.
No,
say it. Just get it off your chest.
It's just interesting because it's like I can see where everyone is coming from, and like I feel like I'm agreeing, and then I'm agreeing, and then I'm like, wait a second, I don't know. It is stressing me out.
Well, thank you guys for listening. And I like this episode. And next week we can hear what side she lies on, and then we won't speak on it after that. Yeah. Make sure you guys subscribe, share, leave a comment. Tell us how much you hate me or hate Shay or hate Morgan for not having any dominant opinion on it. And we'll see you guys next week.
Morgan's like, I hate when y'all